So I started playing Twilight Princess for the 100th time, and I'm just now realizing that Russell says this. What gods? If you don't recall, the world was actually created by the three goddesses, Din, Nehru, and Feror. Din used her hot and sexy arms to form the earth, Nehru created the spirit of law, and Feror created all the life forms. Either this is a retcon, or the people of Ordon created a new history for themselves to study. They do live in the woods, far away from more modern civilization, so I guess it makes sense that they made something up. But then, how did they learn about the concept of gods? Well, we all know that after Link returned to Hyrule from Termina, he married Milan. They moved back into Kirihiri Forest, which is where the Ordana province comes from. Wait, is that actually something that's canon, or did you just make it up because you think it sounds right? With this in mind, Link and Malon likely passed down their knowledge of the outside to their children and then to their grandchildren. In previous titles, the gods are mentioned, but that still doesn't explain why this mistake exists. The Triforce is also an interesting case. On occasion, it is referred to as the Triforce of the Gods. But again, the gods didn't create it. The goddesses did after they created the universe by fusing into one. The franchise is no stranger to retcons, so maybe this is just one of them, even though Nintendo usually takes details into account. Looking at Zelda Universe, it does list some gods that I didn't even know were supposed to be gods, like the Great Fairies, Jabu Jabu, and the Great Deku Tree. Here's the thing though. In-game, the Deku Tree himself only refers to himself as a guardian spirit. How exactly does that equate to a god? And with Jabu Jabu, well, Zora do call him a guardian deity, but he's really just a big fish, if we're being honest. How exactly is he supposed to be protecting them from? And 7 years later, he's gone. So I assume he died. Not exactly something I would think a god would do, huh? And the Great Fairies can't be gods either. There's a difference between divine powers and magic. In all Zelda games, Great Fairies can do things such as heal your wounds, give you a magic meter, or enhance your equipment, but they can't do what the goddesses did, because they aren't powerful enough. There is the Windfish, who comes a little closer, able to create an entire island by just taking a nap. But that's all it was, a dream. And as we learn in the ending of Link's Awakening, Link was dreaming too. Koholint never existed. So what the Windfish can perform isn't really divine, as it is more magic. And even though he has a deity in his name, the fierce deity is not a god. He has the coolest looking sword in gaming history, don't at me, that does more damage, but that's about it. The only other attribute has to do with the mask, having all the emotions from everyone in Termina stored inside. Does that sound like a godly property? I don't know. The closest we can get are the four giants, at least according to Anju's grandmother, who is obviously senile. The giants created Termina. So, okay, if this old lady is correct, then I can count the four giants as gods. But again, they created Termina, not Hyrule. So, who is Russell referring to? Unless the term gods is just another way of referring to the goddesses? Well, then that's confusing because of how gendered words work. If I were a parent, you wouldn't call me mother because, it's basically the same thing. Anyway, rant over. I'm gonna go get scolded by Ilya. Even though Epona clearly has no visible injuries.